The Section 89 independent panel of experts says it's still looking into all the submissions made for its assessment to determine whether President Cyril Ramaphosa has a case to answer on constitutional grounds or not. The panel has 3 more days left to conclude its work before reporting back to National Assembly Speaker Nosiviwe Mapisa-Nqakula. It's been assessing the information submitted by the ATM, EFF, UDM and Ramaphosa's response to the information since last week. Now, this relates to the alleged theft of millions of US dollars from Ramaphosa's Phala Phala farm in Limpopo on 9 February 2020. Now, let's get analysis on this and other political issues. Now joined via Zoom by political analyst Sandile Swana. Thank you so much for your time this afternoon. Now, there's only a few days left before, in fact, the ANC goes into its elective conference. And one would have assumed by now, or hoped rather, that the president would have probably said a little bit more about the Phala Phala, given just how this is weighing on the party itself. Talk to us about, just the kind of damage that is likely to happen should, we go into the elective conference and following what the panel will actually find.
There is damage that is already in progress, Nati, which is that reputationally, the African National Congress, which touted Ramaphosa as an agent of clean governance, are now finding that he is also involved in various scandals. The other consideration here, indeed, is that the panel that is looking into this matter under Sandile Swana, former Chief Justice Sandile Swana, is that they have to look and say, was there, first of all, any constitutional violation? Was there a violation of any other law? Or was there a misconduct by the president? So all of those things are mandated in Section 89 in the Constitution. What that does is that there are a number of areas of error, certainly that the journalists have reported in the newspapers and have been submitted as complaints. So there's a number of areas where they can catch him, actually, to be totally honest. And that is where Mbeki was saying that perhaps they should be preparing the public and preparing themselves as the ANC to say, if there is a prima facie case around the impeachment of Cyril Ramaphosa, what are they going to do? But Cyril Ramaphosa's perspective is that he'll probably fight out until he is actually expelled from parliament, which will be long after the conference. So what we are now seeing is a Zuma version 2, basically, of just stubbornness and not yielding to big moral questions that do arise and taking a legalistic perspective on issues, and that is damaging the reputation of the ANC among the voters and among potential coalition partners.
Now, let's look at the road, to December, the road to the elective conference and those that are, gunning for that presidential role. What is at stake here for Cyril Ramaphosa, given that, again, Dr. Zweli Mkhize having this backing from the ANC Youth League, many saying that has given him some form of level up, but a lot looking at just the branches that have actually endorsed Cyril Ramaphosa, saying that it will actually be a landslide victory for Ramaphosa. What's your take on that?
I stopped actually talking about potential landslide victories. I thought that Trump was going to be beaten by Hillary Clinton, and Trump actually beat Hillary Clinton. I thought Zuma was going to be beaten by Mbeki in Polokwane, and Mbeki was beaten up. So I wouldn't say Cyril has got anything guaranteed, because when you start to understand politics, and also the politics of the ANC. For instance, I do not know, having seen those nominations and what have you, you have unknown wild cards, such as Paul Mashatile. You don't know whether Paul Mashatile will be the the Didi Mabuza of the Nazareth conference this time around. So there's a lot of unknowns that are out there. So anybody who thinks he's got this election in the pocket, the ANC election, is really joking. I think this is going to be a fight to the death.
Now let's look at the panel that now has asked for, of course, additional days to do its work before it makes its submission to Nosiviwe Mapisa-Nqakula as a speaker. Just what is at the at the helm of, you think, of the work that needs to be done by them and covered by them? I mean, one would imagine the difficulty that this panel now needs to have in terms of, collating that information, that has already been made public, and also the statements that have been made by Cyril Ramaphosa himself, and also having to look at what is contained in that Integrity Commission report. I would imagine they have to consider all factors before making their decision.
Yes, the information they have to consider is what has been submitted directly to them, which is the complaints that have been made by ATM, by UDM, EFF, and any other of the political parties that have submitted, and the number of complaints that have been made. There's things there about money laundering, abuse of power, all sorts of things like that. So you have to then say, in each one of those things, what is the law? What are the decided cases on such and such a point? And what is the evidence? What are the facts saying? Are the facts saying that the law has been broken, and indeed it agrees with previous decisions of the high courts, of the upper courts of South Africa? So that is the collation that they have to do. There must be the precedents, as well as the law and the evidence in each area of question. And there are three main areas of question, which is the Constitution, and there would have been complaints about that. And he tried to emphasize, Cyril did try to emphasize that he has not breached his oath of office and whatever. But that was not the only question, really. And so on, there are other questions, whether he would have breached the laws governing foreign exchange, money laundering laws, and so on and so forth. So that is where the difficulty is, and the stakes are high. So these judges and advocates who are handling this case have got to be meticulous, and at face value, from where we are sitting as the community, the facts stand clear that there was money that was stuffed into mattresses and sofas. There was money that came from outside the country that was brought in by some means that are not clear. There were some investigations that were not properly authorized from our view as the community, and the judges and the advocates involved in this have got to satisfy us as the public and the law as it stands in South Africa that indeed there is no prima facie case, or there is one.
Mr. Swana, thank you so much for your time. Really do appreciate it. That was, of course, political analyst Sandile Swana just weighing in on the elective conference and also the work that is being done by that panel.